Indefinite detention of citizens. It can happen to anyone. No, this is not North Korea or Communist China. This is the United States of America. And the NDAA, otherwise known as the National Defense Authorization Act, gives the President the authority to detain Americans without charge or trial indefinitely. The NDAA is the worst thing that happened to this country since the Patriot Act did away with the Fourth Amendment. The NDAA virtually destroys our Constitution. According to the ACLU, the NDAA confides the power to indefinite military detention without charge or trial into law for the first time in American history. Under Section 1021 of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, the section affirms that the administration has the right to detain any person who was a part of or substantially supported Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, or associated forces, including any U.S. citizen. The only problem is it does not define what associated forces are. So anyone, from a Tea Party protester to an Occupy Wall Streeter, can be considered an associated force and detained without charge indefinitely. No one is immune from this legislation and this erosion of our Bill of Rights. Even veterans like myself can be considered terrorists for simply supporting the Constitution. In fact, according to the Washington Times, a 2009 Department of Homeland Security report lists returning veterans among terrorist risk to the United States. Returning veterans, a terror risk to the United States. This has been challenged in court, and in fact, a federal judge ruled that a temporary injunction on Section 1021 of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2012 must be made permanent, essentially barring the White House from ever enforcing a clause in the NDAA that can let them put away any U.S. citizen behind bars indefinitely over mere allegations of terrorist associations. The Obama administration, although it denied supporting this, turns out actually fought to add that provision to the bill. Also, the administration fought for the right to strip Americans of their rights. According to RT.com, the U.S. Justice Department asked for an emergency stay on the order. And hours after, U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, Judge Raymond Lohier agreed to intervene and place a hold on the injunction. Even though Obama said he had reservations, according to RT.com, the fact that I support this bill as a whole does not mean I agree with everything in it, President Obama wrote. In particular, I have signed this bill despite having serious reservations with certain provisions that regulate the detention, interrogation, and prosecution of suspected terrorists, says Obama. But if that's the case, why did he order his Justice Department to fight to have that provision put back into the bill and to be able to enforce that provision? The NDAA, if allowed to continue, will change our country forever. We can get this horrible piece of legislation repealed if we all contact our senators and congressmen in D.C. And don't think a vote for Mitt Romney would change any of this. He, in fact, also supports the NDAA. So make a choice today. Contact your senators and congressmen and save our Bill of Rights. Because if we don't, nobody else will.